Welcome back to VQ35 build part 3. We're rebuilding this engine, guys. For all the new people that's here, we have a lot of new subscribers, a lot of new people that's always checking the videos out every day. So to give y'all, almost knocked something down, but to give y'all a quick little rundown on this engine. About a year ago, I spun a bearing doing donuts and burnouts for a gender reveal for my daughter. That's almost 1 now. So we're rebuilding the engine. We already got the entire rotating assembly put all back together. New pistons, rods, bearings, crankshaft, all that good stuff. Lower oil pans on. I have CX racing rods in here. Everything else is OEM. I have ARP head studs in here, stock camshafts, new OEM head gaskets. I'm about to do timing in this video, but sadly y'all won't see that because I really want to focus on that and make sure I don't mess that up. So I'm really going to focus on getting this timing done real fast. I have everything pretty much where it needs to be clocked at. I have these two camshafts pointing straight up. These two are pointing straight up. This mark on the crankshaft right here is lined up with this mark on the oil pump. Oh yeah, this oil pump is also from a rev up. This is not a normal DE oil pump. This is a rev up oil pump, so I can get a little bit more oil pressure, a little bit more I get closer to the red line pretty much. What else did I do to this? I don't think I've done anything else. I replaced the rear main seal already. Like I said, I'm about to go through, guys, and try to start throwing this timing chain and everything on. I do have the new water pump in there. I do have to get an upper plenum, thermostat, radiator, or not upper plenum, lower plenum, thermostat, radiator, some down pipes, and I believe that's all I need to throw this engine in the car to be able to hear the first start out of it. But guys, I got this side, the right hand side bank on. So if y'all working on this and you're working on it how I am, facing the engine, this is the right hand side, this is the left hand side. It took me a while to realize it because I was trying to follow the directions, which it says left hand side, which I was thinking this was the left hand side the whole time. It says left hand side aligns with oval dowel pins, and that's what I spent probably like 20 minutes and nothing would line up. Literally nothing would line up. Then I did some quick research and I looked at the car and I was like, hold on, this is probably based off if you still have the engine in the car. And spinning the engine around real quick and then turning it back, realized that, like I said, this is the right hand side, that's your left hand side. So this side's going to align with the circle timing marks. This side's going to align with oval timing marks. So yeah, this is all in here. I believe now I can pull the grenade pin, this right here, this tensioner, and let it add tension to it. Ooh, that went a little crooked. But yep, there we go. This chain now has tension on it. I want to say that this side, only thing I need to do is just torque it down. And yeah, just got to torque these two cam gears. This is the exhaust cam gear, this is the intake one. Intake side, as y'all know, on the DEs have variable valve timing. The exhaust side doesn't. If you want one that has variable valve timing on the exhaust side, you have to go look for a rev up or anything 05 plus. Pretty much comes with that from the factory. But I have a 03, which it actually doesn't bother me. It's less parts to have a problem with. But I'm about to align the left side now, put this on here, torque those down, and get ready to assemble the main timing chain. But I do want to show y'all something real quick. Y'all do want to make sure with these timing kits that y'all do put these new gears on, because as y'all see, this one, if I can get it to focus, yeah, this has a lot of flat spots on it. So this was probably on its way out, and this is the exhaust gear off of this side, but they both pretty much look the exact same way. So like I said, it's definitely most likely time to, whenever y'all do this, make sure y'all change these gears out, because y'all don't want no flat spots. Then next thing you know, it'll skip timing on you one day. So never want that. And I even had the same similar flat spots on the water pump. So yeah, Y'all definitely want to make sure y'all doing that. I do got the new water pump in there, but let me go ahead and put this side together. Now y'all, I'm wrapping up the timing. As y'all see, one of the guides are on, tensioners on, nothing's tight or torqued down. It's all just in finger tight, just sitting in its spot. This guide is on. I'm going to put this guide on last. I've seen that it says it's easier to put this guide on last once you got the chain pretty much rested in the spot that it needs to be in. But I'm going to throw that up there after I put the chain on, and so far it looks like my timing marks are starting to line up. I just have to be sure before I throw this chain on, make sure everything is going to line up correctly, and then we get to pull the grenade pin for one last time, and the engine will be timed, and then I'll turn it around, make sure I don't hear any type of valves tapping pistons or anything. And after that, we'll just be putting everything back together, sealing it up, and then we'll be working on the chassis, preparing the chassis to throw this engine back in. Alright guys, I got the engine completely timed. My arm is tired from spinning this crank as many times, making sure my timing marks line up. But I've spun it so many times, and these engines, you just have to keep spinning them until the timing marks line back up. I didn't count how many times, but I did the secondary chain already, and I'm about to keep spinning again for a little while until I get the primary chain marks the line back up where they are. I was seeing someone said in between, I think it's like 2 or 3 spins, what I looked up quickly on Google. But doing this by hand, especially with the engine like building compression, like I hear it like building compression, this shit's killing my arms. But I'm about to get it back to, I don't think it really matters if I need to get it back to top dead center because I'm not taking anything else apart. But other than that, guys, the engine's timed, and it's time to pretty much button this thing back up and get ready to throw it back in the car. Put this front timing cover on, and I know this is going to be a short video, but I'm going to wrap it up after that one. So I'm going to put this timing cover on. I have some gasket makers, so I'm going to get ready to find the bolts wherever I sat them at for the timing cover, throw the timing cover together. Y'all see me do that. Now, before I throw this thing on, as y'all notice, I took all of these covers off so that way I can redo the gasket maker on all of these, because those are the only last points that need to be used with the gasket maker until I throw the valve covers and stuff on. But for now, I'm just going to throw it on like this, and I'm going to clean this off once this is this cover's on the engine, because it'll be a little bit easier for me. Nothing's going to fall down into the engine or anything, because y'all see how far out it sticks. So, but yep, I'm just going to clean that up, and then after that, front timing cover is on. All bolts are just hand tight for now for the next 15 minutes, and then I'm going to go through, torque them all down in the sequence that you need to torque them down. They're all literally just hand tight in there, and I must say, guys, it's starting to look like a complete engine again. I can't wait to see how it looks once it's completely sealed up, see if our engine's going to run. But yep, new front main seals in there. We got to regasket all of this stuff, but we coming to the end, guys. We're coming to the end. So let me let this sit for the next 15 minutes, and then I'm going to torque it down, and then we're going to see what it looks like. We're back on this, guys. It's been about 2 months since that last clip y'all just saw, and I'm going to explain real quick why it's been 2 months. But real quick, I'm about to show y'all everything that I do have to finish this video out with. I did get the valve covers, as y'all see, but they're not bolted down, they're not tightened. I just had them sitting up here just to save space from boxes from my parts pile over there. But yeah, I got the valve covers, I have the oil pan with the gasket, I have as y'all see, I put the headers on, motor mounts are on, harmonic balancers on. I put these covers back on, they're all torqued down, whole timing covers torqued down. I did get the intakes cleaned. I did get a new intake I can show y'all real quick. Here's, you know, the lower portion of it. I cleaned the inside out to the best of my ability. I'm about to spray it down with some brake clean with my, this is going to be my final step with this. I can't get all the way in there, but for the most part, for me doing this with my hands, I did a pretty good job with this. But that's the lower part. I have my original upper part right here, and then the new lower part right there. And then also was cleaning the inside of that. I'm going to finish doing that today as well. But I'm not going to go too deep onto it because I know I can't get everything. I don't have all the tools to get everything out of there. But I do plan on, well, the intake can't go on because I need it off for me to even put the engine back in the car. But I do have that. I did get a knock sensor and some cam sensors and a crank sensor from Parts G35 out of the parts yard. The knock sensor is down here, right there. And as y'all know, when I was disassembling it, the wire broke off right at the harness. So I got the pigtail for it, so it's just ready to be connected whenever I start throwing the wire harness back on here. I did throw some of the intake hosing back on here, but some of this stuff is so hard and crusty. I'm probably just going to go with new, because look, this one right here has no flexibility at all. Like, I'm squeezing this with, oh, I just cracked it. So now I for sure had to get a new hose. But yeah, that's how hard and brittle these hoses are. So I'm going to get some new ones. These are actually my second set of new valve covers for this, because my first set, I don't know if I still have them sitting over there, but if I do find them, but the first set that I ordered, this piece over here was broken straight off. This piece was broken off, and this piece was broken off right here. So all I did was I got a refund from that company and just ordered a new set from a different company. These ones came perfectly fine, gaskets and all of that. I'm going to be using the coils and the spark plugs that I had on it when I took the engine out, because those probably weren't even in the engine for more than like 10,000 miles, honestly, because I just replaced those a few months prior to the engine coming out. So going to reuse those coils and spark plugs. I don't put new ones. I do got to get new variable valve timing solenoid gaskets. I do have to get a thermostat still, a radiator still, and all the fluids for the engine. But other than that, we almost pretty much set to put this back in the car. I do have the transmission sitting over here. I plan on cleaning this, and I plan on getting a new torque converter too, just to, you know, freshen the transmission up a little bit, and doing not completely changing all the transmission fluid. I'm just changing what's in the pan. So I'm gonna get a new not a new pan, but a new gasket for the pan, new torque converter, new fluid, and all of that. Probably going to do the same thing with the diff in the rear when I start cleaning up the chassis. But real quick, let me explain to y'all what went down for these past 2 months to me. The reason why I had to wait or come to a halt on building this. My fiance's car over here, it ended up somehow the steering rack, I don't know if y'all gonna be able to see the new one that I put in there, but as y'all see, y'all can see the new tie rod and all of that in there. I put new shocks and all that in here. Her car just took a big crap on us one day. She was driving, she got to work, and when she got to work, she said the car just stopped. Steering wheel was hard, everything. Steering rack went out, power steering pump went out, and the lines were leaking. I knew the lines were leaking already, but everything just took a crap at one time. And pretty much I had to pull it back here, but with the Tahoe, because it wouldn't stay started. And I could show y'all, or not show y'all, but tell y'all, because it's all put back together and all of that. It when the power steering pump pulley snapped, it hit the variable valve timing solenoid on the side of the block, and it hit the connector to it, and it started grinding it down, which caused it to short, and it was blowing the engine control module fuse. So the car wouldn't stay started because it kept shorting out on the power steering pump. So I had to replace those wires, put those back in, and now it starts and runs perfectly fine, has power steering and everything all again. Took me like 2 months to get it all, but most of the time was waiting on the right parts. I had to send some stuff back because I didn't get the right stuff. Ordering stuff for these 3.5 Altimas is a little bit tricky, so I had learned that I had to get just to look up parts for a 09 Maxima for this, and ever since I've done that, I've always got the right part. But yeah, that's what caused me to do a halt on that. But other than that, I'm about to get ready to throw this lower oil pan on, throw this other cam phaser cover on, seal that up with the RTV, and clean up the rest of the intake and get ready to throw it on here. Alright, now guys, I have the cover on, the cam phaser cover on, oil pan on. They're both torqued to spec, and it's time for me to do these valve covers real quick, and then we'll see where we're at. And probably going to end the video after these valve covers, because I've been in the making of this video for so long, and I just need y'all to see something. I just need y'all to see something. I need y'all to see this video, how I got this far into the engine build. But yeah, let me do these real quick. Last look before we start sealing these up. But I do want to give y'all a little tip for anybody that does valve covers, whether the engine's in the car or out of the car. According to the Nissan manual, and I'm even going to show y'all the page here in a second, you have to put gasket sealer in these corners, because the actual valve cover gasket doesn't seal too well in these corners. So you definitely want to put some, just not too crazy, just a thin line, you know, right here in these corners. And like I said, I'm about to show y'all here in a second, but this is it, guys. We're about to seal it completely up. There won't be no going back from here, pretty much. So like, all I can say is it's been a lot of twists and turns, but it was a good journey getting to this point. We almost ready to put this back in the car. But let me go ahead and grab this gasket maker and put some in the corners and show y'all where exactly it's supposed to be at. Right here it says apply a thin coat of RTV sealant to the cover groove into the corners of the front camshaft journal cap. Then position the gasket inside the cover and allow the sealant to set up so the gasket adheres to the cover. If the sealant isn't allowed to set, the gasket may fall out of the cover as it's installed on the engine. Pretty much what that says is you want to put a little bit of sealant in these, but that's already put in these covers when you buy them, and that's why this actual gasket stays in the cover whether you put it on and take it off. But the part that I'm really pointing out is right here, these camshaft and journal corners. Right here you have to put just a thin coat, like they said right there, because it doesn't really seal, the gasket doesn't really seal right there. So I'm going to get ready to throw that on here, and I'm going to do both sides, tighten them both down, and then we'll see where we're at after that. Real quick, one thing I do want to elaborate on or make clear: a lot of people give these aftermarket valve covers with the bolts bad reviews, but one thing I will tell you is, and the reason for the bad reviews is, they always break the bolts. Let me show y'all something real quick. You'll see how this bolt has a rubber seal, and it's actually mating to the surface, and it's pushing down like equal force on all of them. When I ordered this engine rebuild kit, it came with seals for the valve cover bolts. You put these around the bolt. Let me put it around the bolt real quick. You put it around the bolt like so, and as you tighten it down, this is basically like a rubber cushion, so that way you don't push all the threads down into the head, because without this bolt goes straight down and it doesn't even seal properly. You're supposed to have these rubber grommets for this, so that way you could prevent the bolts from breaking and also snapping off these plastic ears where the bolts are supposed to go through. I've seen tons and tons of people do that before, but I don't know, some people might notice, some people don't, so that's why I'm shedding some light on it. But as y'all see, I have all the bolts, they're all tightened down, it's all torqued down. I'm going to make sure, go through one more pass. I always triple check and make sure these are torqued down to what they need to. Now when you're checking torque, that don't mean, you know, just put all your strength on it making sure it's tight. No, you're just turning it. I'll usually turn it back and forth, you know, not back to where it's loosening the bolt, but you know, I put enough pressure to know that it's tight and that it's not going to back out. But that's just one thing that I thought, or one tip that I thought y'all would definitely enjoy to hear. But let me do this other side, and once we do that, we'll be all done with the valve covers. All done with the valve covers. I did go ahead and stick the coils in there just to keep the holes covered, and as y'all see, I got these rags in here for the intake to keep those covered. But as y'all see, we're pretty much all done with it. I just had to put accessories back on it, get me an oil filter, get ready to throw it back in the car, throw the wire harness back on it, and see if it runs. But next video, we're gonna pretty much, that's what we're gonna be doing. We're gonna be throwing the wire harness, all the accessories on it, and putting it in the car. I'm going to arrange a weekend for me to get this done, and I'm going to record it, and we're all going to see if this engine runs. But we're finally finished with it. Finally finished. But like I said, a couple things that I am going to get still. I am going to go with a new crank bolt. That's why it's not tightened down all the way. There's nothing wrong with that, but I've seen that whenever you torque certain bolts down, the threads tend to spread and all that. So I'm going to get a new one that the threads aren't spread on it and all that. But new crank bolt. I'm also going to what else do I need to get? I'm going to get a new thermostat, of course, radiator, some oil, all the fluids, like I told y'all, torque converter. I still got the hardware for the plenum spacer and all of that. Y'all gonna see me put all that on. I gotta clean up the plenum still. I do gotta get some type of down pipes. I think I'm just gonna go with test pipes. I'm not gonna go with those cheap eBay catalytic converters, because I've seen some people's cars catch on fire because of those, and I don't want that. So I'm just gonna go with some down pipes, probably some test pipes for this. Yeah, it's going to be loud, but I really don't care for now. I'll change it in the future once I discover that the engine's running and everything. But I do have to get these water crossover gaskets. I don't know if these are reusable or not. If they are reusable, probably going to clean them up and just reuse these. But other than that, guys, I'll catch y'all in the next video.